Welcome to another YFE Chat Live. Tonight's episode is all about crowdfunding. It's one of our popular topics, the most popular topics over here on youtube.com/YF Entrepreneur. So let's go ahead and get started. Tonight's guest is is Yulia with Fundreamer.org. I'm so excited to talk to her because she, along with the Fundreamer team, fund people, and it's a non-profit organization. So it's like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, but it has a non-profit background. We're going to hear more about the story of why they decided to do that and all of that fun stuff. But we're also going to hear tips on how to actually do a crowdfunding campaign and raise the amount of money you need to kickstart or to get off the ground, I should say, an idea, a product, a business, etc. So tonight's episode is 113. I'm your host, Jennifer Dono. Make sure that you tweet your takeaways using the hashtag YFEChat. You can also tweet me using the Twitter handle at Jennifer Dono. So tonight's episode is brought to you by MailChimp. MailChimp is the best way to send email newsletters. It's the best way to design, send, and share email newsletters. You can get started today at MailChimp.com for free. Don't forget to sign up at our mailing list at yfe.me/mailedit. MailChimp is such a fantastic sponsor. Thank you so much to them. So let's go ahead and get started and bring Yulia on. Yulia, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me here tonight.
So tell us a little bit, I'm on the camera. Tell us a little bit more about Fundreamer.org. Like I mentioned, it's a nonprofit as a crowdfunding platform, which was a little surprising to me as far as crowdfunding goes, because you just don't see that. Like I said, there's a number of platforms available to us. What was the background behind why you decided to go that way?
So we decided to take Fundreamer in a social enterprise direction because we're interested in funding women and diversity groups. Ellie and I started Fundreamer, and we're both women, and Raj, our partner, is Indian, so he's diversity groups. And we're really interested to getting funding across to the people that really need it, which is women and minorities and diversity groups, because they're the ones that don't have access to the funds. And we want to create education, and we're not doing this for a profit. We're just taking the 1% to cover our operational costs, and we want to just even out the plateau and make the playing field for new innovations a little bit easier and a little bit more even. Only 4%, under 5% actually, of women get VC funding, and we want to increase the numbers.
Well, so tell us what the difference is there, because Fundreamer, what did excite me was that 1% takeoff. And I'm, as someone that's interested in, I always watch Shark Tank, which I know a lot of young female entrepreneurs do, and that's a big deal, you know, the expense that comes along with doing business. And so with Fundreamer being 1%, what is the equivalent takeaway for if you were to go to Kickstarter.com or Indiegogo or one of those other platforms?
So if you go to, for example, Kickstarter, it's 5%. Indiegogo,
5%?
5%. And
oh my gosh, I had no idea it was that high.
And Fundly is also 5%, but the numbers get smaller the higher you go. So basically, if you reach over, $100,000, the fees get smaller. They get to like 3% and 2%. They don't get down to 1%. We're still very, very small in relation to the fees. And I think Indiegogo is 4%, and Pledge Music is a whooping 15%. So that's a lot of fees that come out of your crowdfunding revenue. And then plus you have to add the additional 3% crowdfunding fee, which we actually also charge too, but that's to cover the credit card transaction costs. So when you have something like Pledge Music and it's already 15%, you add 3% to it, that's already like 18%.
Oh,
and it can be even 5%. So already 20% is taking out of your budget. And even with Kickstarter, it's already 8%. And for a lot of companies, you know, they have such a hard time raising the money and they want to keep most of it. And it's a really big chunk to just kind of give away. And we want to help entrepreneurs keep more of their money and help make their dreams come true.
So let's go ahead and clarify exactly what crowdfunding is, because I know that is something that's a little bit confusing as far as, especially when you're talking about entrepreneurship and you're starting a business or you're launching a product and you're crowdfunding for it, because there's two different types of crowdfunding here, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about what exactly crowdfunding is?
Crowdfunding is very general, actually. There are a lot of different categories. You can crowdfund pretty much anything. We have a little video on our website that is educational, and you can crowdfund anything from a pony to a creative project to personal build.
I watched the video when it said, I think the first thing that pops up is pony.
Pony. Right. It's anything that you have a dream for. So Indiegogo lets you crowdfund anything. So we do the same thing, but our focus is on tech and women entrepreneurs. So those are the projects that we're really interested in. But for example, we had a friend that had cancer, and she's been really sick. And we kind of surprised her by doing a crowdfunding campaign for her on her birthday because she couldn't cover her medical bills. And we raised about $5,000 in 3 days for her.
Wow.
And it's doing little efforts like that, just being able to help people out, because when you can do it, why not?
Well, and you know, what's interesting, you're talking about the different ways that you can use crowdfunding. And I felt like at the very beginning of this, when I thought, oh, I really want to talk more about, get more in depth on the whole crowdfunding topic, because I actually heard someone speak on it recently that was a crowdfunding platform that works specifically within the vertical of publishers, book publishers. And so their site was all about fundraising for people that wanted to get a book out there, which I thought was really interesting. But along with that line, I just wanted to make sure that we clarify, like you said, you can crowdfund anything, a pony or whatever it is. But if you feel like you don't need money right now and you're watching this, you never know a year from now. Maybe you want to write your own book. You want to write a book, but a publisher is, it's hard to come by a publisher nowadays. You can actually go out there and crowdfund. I didn't even think about this. For the design cost of putting together a book, you can get everything started before you even start writing the book. So, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can raise money. So I just want to make sure that we talk about that so that people know if you're in a service-based business, there still might be the possibility that you need to use a site like Fundreamer in the near future.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and I wanted to ask you, so are there any examples of people that have been successful on your site that we can talk about?
We just had EcoPod launch, which is a really innovative product from Israel, and they did a small campaign, and they were successful. And EcoPod is urban agriculture using hydroponics. So it doesn't use any water or soil. It just uses minerals. So you can grow food anywhere, especially in desert climates like Israel or Africa, which makes food production, and it kind of solves world hunger. So to me, that's really interesting because I'm all about improving humanity and quality of life. So they were funded, and we're helping them. They're actually one of the products that we're incubating, because along with being a crowdfunding platform, of course, we also have an incubator, and I'm actually calling you from the incubator. And this is a place where you can actually launch a product on our site through Fundreamer, raise the funds, and then if it's an interesting enough product, it's kind of like Shark Tank. We have investors that are really interested in tech. So we can take your product, we can incubate it, we can launch the MVP, which is minimal viable product, and we can connect you to investors. So that's another thing that Kickstarter does not do. We actually help you launch your product, we help you crowd fund it, and then we can actually offer you financial structure, we can offer you strategy, we can offer financial modeling. So we have a whole team in place. We have coders. So we're really interested.
I saw that on your website where you talk about how you can actually help with social media and getting the word out and that type of a thing, which I know is definitely, we're going to talk about that in just a moment, how you can actually get the word out that, hey, we need money in the first place. So I wanted to go into the whole pros and cons of doing the crowdfunding way, because, I mean, there's a number of ways we can go about getting money, right? We can go to friends and family and ask for money and give them a piece of the business. We could get a loan from them. We could do crowdfunding as far as giving pieces like I said earlier, doing it in exchange for equity. So why would I want to go to people and like at the Stacey Harris was saying on the chat, she thinks that Natalie Sisson, I think he's pronounced her name Sisson. She crowdfunded her book, The Suitcase Entrepreneur. So what she did was that she gave away, in exchange for donations, she gave away certain rewards that were for like her loyal fans when they pre-ordered the book. So what are the pros and cons around crowdfunding?
Well, crowding is a really great PR effort. A lot of people sometimes think of crowdfunding as just logging into Facebook and Twitter and just posting and people will give you money. And it doesn't really work like that. It's really a PR effort that is planned 6 months ahead, preferably 2 to 6 months ahead. And I will go into that a little bit later in the interview. And so crowdfunding is great for a PR effort and to create a buzz, and it's also a really great way to test your product, because I think the internet will really let you know if your product is great or not. So if you have 1 million people coming to you to purchase your product, you know it's great. So it's really great for product testing. It's really great for PR. It's really great to have a fan base. You're developing a fan base and you're not using your own money to do it. So you won't be in the hole. You're not taking out loans. There's no interest fees. And you build a team of ambassadors and influencers, which will be there with you through your whole entire product lifeline. If you're launching a product, be it a book, be it an EcoPod, be it anything. And it gives you free promotion. It connects you to the world.
Very nice. Now, as far as setting up those rewards then, what are some good tips as far as saying if you're going to donate $5, you get this. If you donate $50, you get that. What are the best practices when it comes to setting that up?
I think for setting up the rewards, it really depends on you. I like to have a lot of fun with it. So for me, it's literally anything. You want to try to make it as digital as possible. You want to try to minimize your shipping costs. So if it's anything that they can download or print out or anything social, because you want to keep your shipping costs down, because in the end, you have to really figure in your shipping costs. And I'll go into that later as well. Because a lot of people launch a $10,000 campaign, but they're not realizing it'll take about $2,000 to ship everything out in the end. So it's a little bit of that. But let me see. Every campaign has a different style of a reward system. We just launched a campaign for a girl who's running to be, I think, Miss Teen USA. And since she's LA-based, she's actually a really great tennis coach, and she's giving away private tennis lessons, which is really fun. So she's using her skills.
Oh, cool.
And so it's really fun. You know, like you have a girl who's running for Teen USA and she'll teach you how to play tennis. It's kind of amazing. And but it depends. It depends. It's great for books, you know, autographed books. Just make it personal and really give them a piece of your product. That is the biggest advice that I can give you. Figure out your product and figure out how you can give the biggest piece of it to your supporters, because they want to be a part of it. That's the only reason that they're supporting you.
They want to be part of it. I think that's a great takeaway as far as that goes, because you talked about figuring out or crowdfunding basically in a different sense, in that you're getting the word out before you put the product out, and you can get people's reactions before the actual product is there in physical form, which I think is a really exciting idea, even apart from just making sure that you have the funds available to actually create the product. Now, as far as getting people to find out about your campaign in the first place, this is one of the most stressful things. And as youngfemaleentrepreneurs.com, I get probably like 15 emails, no joke, every day about people launching a crowdfunding campaign saying, can you promote this? Can you talk about it? And so I know that people, I mean, once you get that out there, you have a certain amount of days, right? And you're just like, I need to get people to find out about it. I need people to donate. So how do you get people to find out about your campaign when there are 15 other people out there doing the same thing you're doing?
That's a great question. I think before you launch your product, you really want to take it around to your friends, to even strangers, and test it. Test it, listen to what everybody say. Of course, you can't take every piece of advice, but really make your product the best that it can be before you launch a Kickstarter. So there's a lot of feedback, there's a lot of tweaks, and then once that product is complete, what we do with Fundreamer is actually we offer social media amplification, because right now we're small and we're able to do it. And we do that using targeted Google ads and Facebook ads, which obviously Kickstarter doesn't do. You'll be lucky if you get included in their newsletter if your project takes off. But with everyone's campaign, it's really hard to gain exposure, and we offer it through Google ads and Facebook ads. And then
you know, that's a great point. As far as, so you run Google ads and Facebook ads on behalf of the person that's running the campaign?
Yep, we do, and we're going to make that a premium service moving forward. But right now, since we're starting out, we're offering it for free. It
makes sense because it's mutually beneficial, right? People find out about the campaign, they find out about Fundreamer. If the campaign does well, you've gotten your 1% operating fees. So that's awesome. I love it when companies do things like that.
Right, and we have a few other things that we're working on, which is just suggesting that people write personal emails, because even if you post on social media, a lot of people are not checking social media, and they might miss your post. So I can't emphasize how great it is to write old school emails to everyone in your network announcing your project. And it's really good to start to have a little kickoff party the day before you launch your Kickstarter with your friends. So they can tweet, they can Instagram, they can create a buzz. Because all you want to do is create pre-hype. You want to create a buzz and you want to get people excited, and you want to have people tweeting for you and social mediaing for you and Facebooking. And the most important thing to get more hits is to create a 30-day posting schedule in Hootsuite. So you have to make sure your content is different pretty much every day. And if you set up a 30-day campaign, you really want to try to get all your funding in 10 days. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be fast and furious, basically. So you have to, prepare for it like an athlete. And setting up a social media schedule allows you to be able to really see your message. So every day you're not posting things like, oh, give me money, I'm doing a campaign, fund me. Because that's really boring. Nobody wants to see that for 30 days. So you have to find a creative way to engage people and create a buzz and list all the press that you're getting, which is something I'm going to go into. But you have to keep your audience excited, and you have to get them to believe in your product and get them to fall in love with you. That's all it is. And don't let your campaign go longer than 30 days because you have a limited amount of time to get that money.
Well,
That's the most important thing. Treat it as a brand. It's a brand. You're connecting people. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, let's talk about the type of person that's actually going to contribute into a campaign, because this is something that I'm like, who a year before the product actually comes out, someone's invented something really cool and they say, let's fund it so it actually comes out. I want the product right now. Why am I going to give you $1,000 today in order to get it a year from now? So what kind of a person contributes to a campaign? Do they have to be a loyal fan? Do they have to be someone that's very interested in the product? Where do you see that?
I think people fall into passion project people. And again, it's storytelling. I come from an advertising background. I spent about 11 years in advertising. Then I spent the last 3 years in startup world. And again, it comes to telling stories. It's again, building a brand. And you want to touch people on an emotional level right here. So if you can create an emotional story and be honest and be passionate and influence people, that's what you want to be doing. Because people love causes, and people always want to support people who are doing amazing things. And passion creates everything. So, if you have passion, it shows.
Well, and Stacy brings up an interesting point in the chat as far as these larger projects that are being crowdfunded. So we see things in the media all the time, because this is the one thing that I worried about when I saw sites, niche sites like yourselves, or like I was saying earlier, the one that focuses on authors, is that it's not a very well-known site as far as crowdfunding in the first place. Is kind of like, what is that? How do I do it? And then when you're looking at these smaller sites, is it trustworthy, that kind of a thing? Are people going to give their money when they're not sure of where it's going to? So has these larger campaigns, like Cece mentioned, Veronica Mars, or the follow-up, what's that guy's name? Zach Braff. Yeah. Has that helped crowdfunding and sites like yours?
That's a good question. I think it has, because it appeals to a fan base that already exists, because people want that. And if they can't have it, the world is going to figure out a way to make it happen. They love Veronica Mars. So that was only powerful because she could activate her fan base. I think it has helped. I would say it has. But again, with Fundreamer, we're brand new, so nobody really knows about us. So we're trying to get the word out. And one more thing that I was going to say is it's more than just creative projects. And crowdfunding, I think, is just starting to take off. People know Kickstarter. They know it for creative projects, but they don't know that you can crowdfund a baby shower. Baby showers are expensive, and usually somebody puts something really expensive on the list, like a $2,000 stroller, and there's one person that has to buy it, and they're like, oh, great. So you can set up a baby shower basically through our site, through Fundreamer. You can set up a baby registry, and the beauty of it is that 10 people can kick in for the stroller. It doesn't have to put the weight on one person to buy it. You can do the same thing for a trip. Say you want to go on a trip, and there are like 8 people going on a trip to Cancun. Instead of running around and getting everybody to pitch in, $800 to go to Cancun, you open up an account, everybody dumps their money in there. It's great for like sororities, it's great for fraternities. It's a really great way to pool your money together. And so it's good for little tiny projects like that, as well as creative projects.
Oh, nice.
Because creative projects, that's what everybody's familiar with. Everybody knows the Pebble Watch.
Well, and I want to go back. So it's 1% as far as the service fee for being on the site and listing your campaign when you're done with it. And then as far as the credit card fees, is that an additional percentage on top of that?
Yeah, it's 3%. And that's what Indiegogo charges, that's what Kickstarter charges, that's what Fundly charges. It's pretty much, it's going to be a standard fee no matter like where you go.
And do you guys help people as far as, is there a page on the website that says these are your expenses, make sure that you consider this when you're setting up your rewards and setting up your goal amount?
Yeah, we have a how-to page, so there's a lot of information on that. And the beauty of us being small is also that we're available through Skype. So we're currently working with a few campaigns, and we're actually coaching them, and we're taking them through the process, which the other crowdfunding sites don't do. So literally, my team and I are accessible, and we're just a Skype phone call away.
Very nice. And then just to go over your team, it's yourself and another female founded it, right?
Ellie Shapiro, she's great, and Raj Kotia, and we just brought on Cassandra Sjöström, who's an amazing entrepreneur, and she runs a wonderful site called Vegan Unite.
Oh, we missed the site
she's also helping us with social media, so it's 4 of us. Yes, it's called Vegan Unite. Oh. Yeah, it's called Vegan Unite, VEGAN Unite, and it's a cruelty-free product site, and it's for vegans, so it's like an Etsy for vegans. It's great, and we're just getting it going. We're relaunching it. We're excited.
And then why did you actually start the site with your co-founders? What was the prompt behind all of it? Like you said, you were in advertising, right?
I love storytelling. I always had a passion for women issues. In 1999, I had a women's art magazine that promoted women artists. And being a creative in the advertising end, I was always kind of like the unicorn, because women are usually on the account side. So I've always been a champion for women doing creative projects, and I'm really passionate about STEM because I'm really interested in getting more girls into the arts and empowering them. Because if you teach young girls at a young age to empower them, they'll have that knowledge throughout their whole entire life. And same with Raj. We're all immigrants. So I grew up in Russia, in Moscow, and so did Ellie. And we moved here, and we believe in helping people achieve their dreams. Same with Raj. He grew up in India. So we know all about having dreams, and we know how it takes a village sometimes to achieve that dream, and we just want to help everybody achieve their dream.
Love that. So now, I mean, you've mentioned a few times storytelling, and one of the biggest things, like I said, people email YFE a lot about their crowdfunding campaigns, and I pick up guests by features that are in TechCrunch and GeekWire and that type of a thing, where they cover campaigns that are happening right now, and I can find some really cool products in that way, by them getting themselves out in the media talking about their products. So what's some of the best ways that people can get their stories out to the public or to the masses, whether it's through something like TechCrunch or it's through mainstream media?
Well, as I mentioned, you really need to treat your crowdfunding campaign as a PR campaign. You should be really preparing all of your information 2 to 6 months in advance. I recommend creating social media accounts, of course, and creating a social media content schedule via Hootsuite for the 30-day duration. I like to put together a whole list of bloggers and influencers and reach out to them about a month or 2 before launch. And you try to get them to run your story. You make connections. You tell them what they're doing. Because bloggers are looking for stories to write. And it's just a matter of time making the right connection. So reach out to people on social media, email people in person, meet with people in person. And that's really the best way. Make human connections. Make friends. Reach them however you can. Don't try to bug them too much because people are busy. But create a Google Drive, create a spreadsheet, store everything in there, and just follow up. So make sure that they publish your story on the day of your launch, and that they also include you in their social networks. So post on Facebook, post on Twitter, and reciprocate. It's all about love. You share the love, and there's a lot of love to go around, and everybody's helping everybody else. So make friends. That's
I like that you said something about it's a people thing. It's going back to a personal connection, and not to forget that, rather than just sending out these blank emails, being desperate, basically. I feel there's certain emails that I'm like, oh my gosh, it's oozing desperation. And I always feel bad for them, because especially with a crowdfunding campaign, when you reach those last 5 days and you're nowhere near your goal, you start to act that way. And I heard a girl speak actually at an event that said she had 2 days left and she was literally at the grocery store. She would turn around to the people behind her and say, do you like yoga? Do you do yoga? Do you wear yoga pants? And she would hand them a card with the crowdfunding page and say, go here and support my campaign. She talked about it, but it was a nonstop type of a thing. So I love that you bring it back to it's people.
It's people. You know, I also think that you should have a kickoff party. You should have a middle of the road achievement party and an end party, no matter how it turned out. With us, you keep whatever you raise. So that's also another great feature of our platform, and you can cash out anytime. So say you reach your campaign goal in 5 days instead of 30. That's great. Cash out. Perfect. We're done. And but again, have parties, get people excited, make them feel like they're a part of a bigger thing. People love movements, people love community, and you know, there's always a great excuse for a party waiting to happen.
Any excuse for a party for a young female entrepreneur sounds good to me. Now, as far as technicalities go, because you said like after 5 days you can cash out, which is really nice, so you don't have to actually move forward with the expense. What about other technicalities when it comes to crowdfunding campaigns, like taxes, for example? How do you make sure that if you're selling a retail product in advance, that you make sure you include the product tax, retail tax, that type of a thing?
So the tax stuff it's a little complicated because we let everybody handle their own taxes because they're different state taxes and we can't really control it. So, but what I can say is I believe anything under $13,000 is a gift, and anything after $13,000 has to be declared. But everybody has to do their own IRS forms, and everybody has to like do everything that they can. And that's pretty much it. And then what else? Fulfillment, it should always be taken into consideration too. It's always best to offer downloadable items to minimize shipping costs too. And that's all I can say about that.
Well, and how do you keep track of people too that have purchased or have donated in advance? How do you make sure that at the very end that you're actually able to give them what it is that they donated for? Is that something you guys help?
It's not something we help. It's really up to the individuals because they have to make sure that they can pull off the project.
You know, so, this sounds like a lot of work in Google spreadsheets.
It's a lot of work. It's a whole campaign. You have to organize everything very carefully. Well, so it's a lot of work.
Crowdfunding sounds really attractive, and like you said, it's attractive because it's bigger than just fundraising. It's PR campaigns. You're really getting the word out about your company, and especially with Fundreamer, I mean, it's only 1% of a fee when you're looking at something like 5% with Kickstarter, so it makes a lot of sense. But I love that you keep reminding people it's a lot of work, it's a lot of planning.
You're launching a business. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted. I got so excited. I have like people trying to enter the door, and I'm like, no, don't enter yet. Don't enter. So I'm like flailing my arms uncontrollably. Again, if you're serious about crowdfunding, aside from doing small projects to, you know, fund some bills here, fund a baby shower, if you're launching products, you have to realize that you have to treat it as a business. And there's a lot of work that goes into launching a business. And crowdfunding gives you a great way to successfully launch a business. And you just have to go through all the right steps.
Well, and I'll make sure that I link below to this to the other crowdfunding videos that we talked about, because we talked with someone that, like I said, raised $2 million in 30 days, and he said that they had a staff of 7 people that they hired specifically for that one campaign that was lasting 30 days. So, I mean, there's a lot to take into, and one thing I wanted to ask you, is that a good idea to then to think about your expenses as far as how much is this going to cost us to actually run the crowdfunding campaign? Can you roll that into what it is that you're going to actually be raising?
Yes, what I actually recommend, there's a really great company out there called Zirtual, like virtual but with a Z. And you can hire assistants from them. It's like $200 for 10 hours, I think, and they can do a lot of spreadsheet work. They can do a lot of research. So if you don't have people to help you out, they're a really great resource. You work over Google Drive, over emails. They're very dependable. I've used them myself a few times. But if you're going to be launching a product, you want to launch it with a team because you need a big network. You can't do it by yourself. So if you are going to be launching a product like the Pebble Watch or another wearable or something else, you want to have a good team in place. Just like in business, everybody's going to have a different role. And you want to beef up your social media team as much as possible because they're going to be not sleeping, not eating, get your protein shakes. It's going to be fun and it's going to be busy. And if you're going to try to raise like $100,000 or $1 million, you need a team. So I can't stress the importance of having a good team around you.
It's a great point. And I love the idea that you can roll that into the amount that you're raising. So it's included in the whole, it's not, you know, something that you have to include in your regular business budget. It can be added into that campaign. So let's, just to wrap everything up, why would we choose fundreamer.org over some of the big guys? I know we've talked about it a number of times, but I want to make sure that we reiterate some of the awesome things that you guys are doing. Like you said, too, to just top everything off, you have 2 female co-founders, and your big mission is to help females and minority groups.
Mm-hmm. Well, with us, you get to save a little bit more money, which is always huge. So it's the 1%. It's also part of social enterprise. So there are a lot of people who are interested in making the world a different place. They want to act with their money. They want to support change in the world. They want to create more women entrepreneurs, more diversity group entrepreneurs, because it's 2014 and there's room for that. And basically, change can only happen if you put your money towards it. It's very sad. But money changes social dynamics. It changes the field. And we're trying to level it for everyone so everybody has equal access to it. And then we also do social media amplification. And then we're available. If you want to Skype me, I am here. I will literally pick up the phone. And I'll be available on Skype. And we also throw live events in LA too. We just had a fundraiser for the Empower Her Network, which is great. We sent 20 girls to STEM camp. And we did a fundraiser at the Beverly Hills Hotel. We raised about $50,000 in 3 hours. And we built a custom.
Awesome. Congratulations.
No, we were so excited. Like, I love STEM. So for me to watch little girls learn about code and science, it just brings little tears to my eyes. So because I grew up doing art and I had wonderful people in my life that gave me a chance because I grew up in Russia. I grew up in Moscow. I had no running water. So I came here to Connecticut. And I had all these people like gave me great opportunities, and I'm in a place now where I can help others, and I know how important it is to be able to help others, and I want to share that gift. So with Fundreamer, we want to make dreams come true, and we want to empower people and dream their dreams and show them that they can achieve pretty much anything if you have a big team about helping you along. And dreams change the world. Thoughts are things.
So it's a much bigger why than just we want to get one project off the ground. You really want to change a whole social dynamic, which is fantastic. So Yulia, thank you so much for joining us today, and definitely tell Ellie thank you so much too, because I know that you both have been in communication with me. For fundreamer.org, where can everyone find out more about you?
You can visit us on Twitter at Fundreamer. You can visit us on Instagram at Fundreamer. You can visit our Facebook page. You can like it. It's facebook.com/Fundreamer.
And you guys share a lot of great tips on your Facebook page too. So I definitely recommend their Facebook page.
Yeah, and our social media feed is amping up because Cassandra is here, so she's helping us with it. And also visit fundreamer.org, and you can learn more about our tech incubator. You can apply for an incubation period as well. And we also have a group of investors that we're working with that want to see tech stuff. So we are looking for women who are doing tech and awesome businesses. So we need people. Come on over, say hi.
Do they need to be in the Los Angeles area?
No, anywhere. We're starting small. We're starting local because you have to start local. And I spent the last 11 years actually living in New York, and I just moved to LA. So
how's that?
It's great. I love it. Oh my gosh. I love trading rats for hummingbirds. It's amazing. So I'm all about LA. I really miss New York a lot. I'm going to be there actually in a few weeks still. But LA has a really great vibe. It has a very creative vibe. I grew up in Williamsburg. I didn't grow up in Williamsburg, but I've been living in Williamsburg for the last 13 years. And it changed, and it's been fun. And I just needed something new, like a new territory, a new creative place, which is, downtown LA It's all of California. It's very innovative. There are a lot of creative people here, and it's got a really good artistic energy. So this is my new home right now.
I right now am so in love with all startups from the Los Angeles area for whatever reason. I know, you guys, I promise I have just a couple more LA businesses that are coming on YFE Chat over the summer, but I promise I'll reach out to the East Coast after that.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great stuff happening here, and I'm just so happy to be a part of this network. As you can see in my eyes, I'm just like looking for emails because I was going to do one more plug because we have another really great film project coming on in the next few days, and I was just looking for the email to pull it. But check out our Facebook page, and we're going to announce it. It's a really great woman writer, and she's doing projects about women, and it's going to be great. And I'm really, really excited. I can't even keep up with all the stuff that's coming in, so it's really, really an exciting time.
Well, congrats on everything, Yulia. And again, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us on.
All right, everyone. So you've been watching YFE Chat Live, the live show that happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I don't think I said that at the beginning of the show. Maybe I did, and I'm just losing my mind. So this has been Jennifer Dono. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out fundreamer.org. Their entire team is so fantastic and very engaged within our community. So hopefully you'll look at that, and we'll see you back here next Thursday. Oh my gosh, my guest next week. Oh, you know what? It's actually an East Coaster. I'm super excited. She's actually from London, but she's in New York City, and I found her through Wall Street Journal Live. She's going to be talking to us about her morning Gloryville. She started a rave event that happens in London and New York City that happens in the morning, and it's around juices and rave music, and they dance, and it's awesome. I'm so excited to talk to her.
Send me an invite. Oh my God, that sounds amazing.
Right? All right. So everyone, thank you so much for watching live. Hope to see you back here next Thursday.